Hi, it's Miles with Songbird in New York City. Eve, Evangeline, Einstein's Mind. I was working on a book, and I came up with some writing, some rhymes I'd like to share with you. It says, the guy, King James, who wrote in a book that became part of a book called the Bible, wrote that Moses, who was Joel Osteen, said that Eve's temptation was the fall of man. I should say that King James now is Robin Birdsong. Okay. Current Eve's point of view. This is current Eve. Okay, her point of view. As Eve lay sleeping on her left side, her behind looked like huge breasts on her front side. Her buttocks were Adam's temptation. He caressed them just as he caressed her breasts. Sex position he did reset. Instead of being on top of the thing, at the top of his game, Eve he thought was his thing, was his game. He came in her from behind, in her behind, entering which had caused Eve excruciating pain. Eggs ample, crucifying, dying, felt almost the same. This is Adam. His name is now Michael Bublé. It caused her excruciating pain. Alright, let's continue with Eve's point of view. By Adam's change from giving and receiving pure pleasure in and of Eve's front door, now known as a vagina, he climbed into the thick of thing, the shit of thing, the shitty bang bang, making love deranged, plain foul, producing howls of shame, the fall of man, from being on top to being behind, invading the anus, the exit for shit to return to dust. Adam broke trust. Eve could not relax and turn her back on him to sleep, lest he snatch her body, bust the lock with his cock, worm his way in, waste his precious baby-making sperm. Permanent romance to a slow no dance. Okay, let's see what this is. C, permanent mind, making C, sperm, mind. Okay, I stopped there. I don't know where I was going with that one. But let's continue with this. Slave paved the way to a new low stance. No lips can kiss. No loving words can coexist. No eyes entrance. The sight of the back of her head was all he had. That's how he knew that he'd done bad. She was not glad, for there was no possibility of her being a mom and him being a dad. She wasn't feeling good and happy. She was mad and snappy. He'd been tempted, just when they started calling women bitches. He'd been tempted to treat Eve's ass like a treasure hole, and he fell into disgrace, leaving the high level of grace. Adam missed the point. To give Eve so much pleasure, her giving birth would match the measure of their attachment in the first place, where Adam caressed with most gentleness, Eve in most every place, except in the hole hidden between her fat folds in the back doors that offends the nose if you get too close. When shit is going where shit naturally goes, in the ground, to leave its dirt. The body's worse, to roll around in earth, increase its worth, its energy to reform, take a new birth. Hopefully, its new mom won't hurt 'cause his new dad had not misunderstood and had entered the welcoming front. Her opened door legs made him know he was the winner peg. She said, I do let you my hole to screw until you're through. You'll come and do. And thunder and lightning makes the hold so exciting. You're wholly engaged on the same page as this pleasure is a highly satisfying wage. Adam never forgot the lesson, the front doors, the blessing, the back doors, shit's exit, a manner of expressing. To be blunt, into the front, the backs for the dunce. The back ass stunt is for the grunts of the chump, the stick of a runt, the chimp of the month, to hump a tight hole. Solid gold is Eve's pure hole. Now Adam's been warned. Unless he wants to end his days early with AIDS, to send him to his early grave. Let him not break character on stage. He knows not to move from nature's ways, not to let an ass become temptation of the past, to keep the position of loving heart to heart, Heart, gives Adam and Eve bliss when they can stretch out and kiss. Humans can exist for eternity if complete, if couples make love like this. The master of the race, mastered race, the mistress of the race, face to face, keeps them feeling up front and close, day after day. Okay, and that's how Eden can be again with what they can now understand. Up front and close, heart to heart, is a way to spark love between Adam and Eve. So long.